Hello, everyone. So today, welcome to Channeling Erik, and I am Paola Marino. And today will be I will be your host, and we have a new guest with us. His name is Dennis from Australia. So he's going to introduce himself and talk to us a little bit about his journey. And he's a psychic medium, and he's going to tell us how he discovered, his psychic gifts and everything. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paula. My name is Dennis. I'm a psychic medium, as Paula said, from Australia, all the way down under. I do readings for people. Obviously, I have clients that I do readings. So for me, I guess my journey really started. I started tapping into and discovering my ability. Maybe I think it was about my early 20s. I At that stage I was living on my own, and I bought my very first deck of cards. I've got them sitting at I still have them. They're back there on my table. This is the room where I do my work from, my readings. And I bought this first deck of cards. I remember walking into the store. I didn't go to the shop specifically wanting to buy a deck of cards. It was the last thing on my mind. I was just led and guided to the spiritual new age section. This was when I was in my 20s. I'm 41 now. And I bought this deck of cards not knowing what I was doing. Went home. But I will say I was always drawn to and fascinated by mediumship. I used to watch a lot of John Edward, James Van Praagh, Lisa Williams, and other mediums that even people have never heard of. Wonderful, brilliant mediums, and I was always drawn to mediumship. I was so fascinated with what they were doing, how they were doing it, why they were doing it. But really, to be fair, I do have to say that it was losing my mother at a very young age. When I look back and reflect, that was really what really started me. Little did I understand or know then, it was losing my mother at a very young age that forced me to ask questions. Well, what happens when we die? Where did she go? I just refused to believe that she just disappeared and just didn't exist anymore. That concept never sat right with me. So, yeah, the older I got, the more I asked questions. Well, what happens when we die? What is it like over there? What do we do? What happens to the body? What happens to the soul? Are we soul? Are we spirit? What are we doing here? All those questions. So I started doing readings. I used to just draw out, I had my deck of cards. I used to shuffle them and I would just practice doing readings on myself. I'd ask a question and I just literally read it intuitively. I never studied tarot. I don't know what the things mean. I never did any of that. I used to purely just read instinctively and intuitively, and I would do it. And then I started practicing on friends, as nerve-wracking as that was. And little by little, bit by bit by bit, I started expanding a little bit here and a little bit there. And I used to just do little readings here and there. And yeah, so I that was me really. That's pretty much how I started.
Very nice, very nice. So, how do you? When was it the first time how do you channel? Like, what's do you see? Do you hear? How do you channel?
So for me, I'm a big feeler. I feel energy. I've always been that way since I was a little boy. I was always told, "You're too sensitive." I'm too sensitive. Oh, what are you getting upset for? Don't be silly. Like you're too sensitive. So that's me. I still am. That's just who I am. So I'm a feeler. I feel energy. I've always been that way. I can walk into a space and into a room and automatically know, okay, this is a good space. I like this, or there's just something about this space I don't know why, but I don't like it. Same with people. There's a lot of us out there that have that ability that we can do that. You don't have to be a psychic medium. We all have this within us. But for me, that's how my ability works. When I channel, when I work with spirit, I feel them as I sit there with a client. I take some time to center myself, ground myself, and then as I start feeling and tapping into that energy, it's the first thing I feel is I literally feel it. And then information just comes to me. It's almost the way that I explain it, it's almost like receiving a text message. I'll get a thought that'll appear into my mind, and then and in the beginning when I started, it was really, really hard to and try and understand, well, what are my thoughts and how do I know it's coming from spirit and how do I know that it's coming from me? And so that's where validation comes in. It's a big, big part of what I do and how I work. I like validation. It's important. It enables me to know that I'm on track, that the reader, the recipient of the reading, is resonating with what I'm saying and that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the biggest part. And then I get, spirit may give me images and I may see things, but only for brief moments. But generally, the biggest way I read is all through feeling.
Wow. Okay. So when you said that you had these thoughts, are those thoughts like translating into words? Like if you're channeling a spirit and they give you their name, for instance, because Abby told me that she was impressed when she had a session with you and you said, oh, and you named a person that just passed away and she was a dear friend of Abby's or a relative, I don't remember. And she was like, yeah, I mean, so like, let's say that name came, it translates into like you see like the image of the word, or it's just a voice or something. How does it translate that communication?
Um, so you know what? So I actually don't get names very often. I do now and then, but I don't really get them that often. But when the information does come through, for example, if I do get a name, um, I it comes to me like a thought.
Mm,
So, for example, if the name George comes to me, it'll
mm,
come to me like a thought George, and I'm like, okay, who is George? What does that
okay.
mean? Or, for example, as I'm doing the reading, and then they'll give me more information. It all comes through as thoughts, and
Okay.
sometimes spirit gives me information, and I'm like, and I always say this to my clients, I'm like, I don't know what this means, but here, this is what I'm getting. What does this mean to you?
Mm,
Or they're talking to me about, a bike. What does a bike mean? And I'll give them more information, hoping that, the sitter will be able to connect the dots for me.
yes.
Not tell me, don't feed me information. I never work in that way. I don't want to know that. But let me tell you, well, let me give you what I've got.
Yes.
And then hopefully that it'll resonate. But it's primarily a thought, a feeling
Yes.
intertwined together, the thought and the feeling together. And then sometimes I do get images, but mostly that's how it is. It's a thought.
So do you feel Eric around you, like his energy and
I do every now and then. I actually had a dream I've had a couple of dreams. I had a dream about Eric. I was telling Abby, not that, maybe a month ago, he come to me in a dream. And when he came to me, when I dreamt about him, I hadn't been thinking about channeling Eric. I hadn't, engaged in it for a long time, if I'm honest, for different reasons. But I did have a dream about him, and I have this diary next to my bed in my bedside table. And when I do have significant dreams like that, like if a loved one comes through or whatever it is, I write it down. So I remember quickly writing it down so I don't forget it, and then I went back to sleep again. But it was basically it was very short, but in the dream, Eric had been there, and in the dream, I was talking to his mother, and I was just relaying what Eric was telling me, whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what he said, but so I have had instances where I've definitely felt him around in my day. Yeah,
that's
randomly,
very
very
cool.
randomly. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel him now? Like usually he comes to help mediums, psychic mediums on our channel to, deliver the information. Do you feel him now around you?
Yeah, if I really, as I talk to you, because it's how I'm working as I talk to you, I start building up my connection. And the more I focus on it, and the more I focus on him, the more that I'll pick up on him, and he'll come through, and he will definitely show him. I'll definitely feel him around me. I already am starting to. Absolutely, yes.
So you were saying he's showing something to you? He's showing,
I'm feeling him. I feel him more
yes,
than,
yes.
yeah, I feel him.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So today we're gonna, as you can tell from the title, we're gonna actually talk about the Gaza crisis, and people want to know more about it. It's a heavy topic, so we'll try to understand a bigger picture around this. And I have a list of questions. I'm going to read to you question by question. Let's see what comes out. So if you hear him in any shape or form, Just even if it's not related, just say whatever. If you hear me, like if you get the thoughts as you
Yeah,
say,
sure. I actually
feel
did.
free.
I felt him as I'm sitting here. I do feel him, and I felt him actually say to me, he's like, "Don't worry, man. My mum knows it's cool. It's cool." Like he's like, "I know how you work, Dennis. It's cool. It's okay. My mum's cool with this. It's okay." And as I'm tuning in and connecting with him, I do feel he does have loved ones with him. He's got relatives that are behind him. I don't know who they are exactly, but they're almost shadowy figures. So he's definitely not on his own. He's got loved ones that are with him and around him, but he keeps reassuring me and saying it's okay, Dennis, it's okay. My mum's cool. She'll see this, she'll watch it, it's okay. She'll be able to validate what you want to validate, but you've got me, man, it's cool.
Ah, nice, nice.
Words,
Very
not mine. It's words.
Okay, so the first question would be from the afterlife, how is Netanyahu's role in the Gaza crisis viewed?
Yeah. So this topic is controversial. Can we say that? It's controversial. A lot of people have different views and opinions, and it's not meant to kind of reinforce or divide anything. The answer to your question, um, when we incarnate, we take on lives. We map out, generally speaking, we map out, what we're going to do, who we're going to be. We basically have a trajectory of what we want to achieve and accomplish. So if we're talking about him, it's his higher self that's more comes across as um, very old and very wise. Even if we're talking about the human, even if the human's not really acting or doing certain things. There's a lot of trauma as well. Thank you. Yes. I just heard him tell me use the word trauma. It's a lot of trauma. So I don't know what his childhood was like. I don't know what he experienced in his life, but not just trauma, but generational trauma has yes, there's a lot of generational trauma that's come into play, which greatly affects our decisions, our personalities, the decisions we make. So I don't know if I'm answering the question. You might have to because sometimes as I'm channeling and I'm reading, I forget what you've asked me. But there's a lot of that going on. So it's almost like feeling it in two different minds because you're talking about the higher self, but then we're talking about the human him.
Yeah.
Um,
So what is his role in this, moment of history? Like,
to uplift us and to remind us of who we really are.
mhm,
To strip back the layers and to remind us of who we are and where we come from, even if it's viewed negatively or positively or whatever. Yes, I just keep feeling Eric telling me, no, it's to remind us of who we really, really are on a soul level, on a spirit level. And you don't, yeah, it's like we don't really discover who we are unless we are put in a situation where we find ourselves divided or we're conflicted or confronted or whatever that is. It just keeps feeling, yes, it just keeps feeling like it's to remind us of who we are. That's exactly what is going on.
because
Yeah,
it's at the core of this conflict, a conflict that has been there forever.
yeah,
So through conflict, we discover who we are, basically. I mean,
yeah.
uh, so what are the spiritual or karmic forces at play in this conflict right now?
Are there spiritual karmic forces? Is
All
that what you said?
karmic forces, yes.
Yeah. It feels more ancient and generational. It feels more very ancient, very old, and very generational. It's like we don't know what we don't know. Where it's we taught, right? Where it's a learned behavior almost. You don't know anything other than what we do. So there's a lot of, and it's really hard to kind of break through that cycle when it's
Mhm.
so generationally enforced in that way, with all due respect. But it feels a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on at the moment, and there's a lot of power play. They're making me feel like a lot of power play at the moment. So, but it again, it's easy to get caught up in the divisiveness of it. But it's really trying to demonstrate, and it's also trying to it's showing us what we don't want as humans as we continue to evolve and continue to grow and to mature as a species. It's showing us what we really don't want. And this is, it's like this is really what we do not want. This doesn't serve us anymore. It's like an old algorithm that's no longer, it's just no longer relevant.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But so so let's say that Netanyahu is challenged maybe in this moment of history to close this karmic cycle.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But they're saying that they're making me feel like you have to understand that there's a lot of influences that are around him as well. We're not just talking about one person. Yes, he may hold a lot of power and position, but he's influenced by this group, these, people advising him and all that. So not only are we talking about the individual, but you're talking about their karmic cycles and their energy, their belief systems,
Mhm.
whatever that in their agendas and whatever it is. So it's really what's that word you just gave me? I've lost it. Intertwined. Yes, thank you. Intertwined with so many other different factors feeding off of all of this energy
Yes,
that's just hyped up. Yeah.
yes. So, uh, so I guess then, since there is so many, things at play here, like so many people, so many influences, it's going to be very hard to come to a kind of harmony, where each instrument plays,
Yeah.
the same score, basically. Okay, so and then we're gonna get there with some kind of estimation of when that is gonna happen, when there is going to be harmony, and when there is going to be, an end to this karmic cycle. Is there any answer to that from the afterlife?
As you've asking that, I've heard there's still a few more battles that need to be kind of gone through. There's still a few more hurdles. Um, and they're mindful as well because they're making me feel like they're saying, we don't want to dampen people's spirit and thinking, oh my God, it's hopeless, it's endless. No, not at all, not at all. We definitely are making a lot of progress. But there's just still so many hurdles and so many things that still need to be overcome. And but we're getting there. They're getting there. We're getting there. But it just feels like there's still so much that we need to go through. I really time frame. I don't know. I'm not picking. I don't know a timeline.
Yes,
But it's important to stay. Yeah, I feel what you mean. Yeah, we still have quite a bit to go through, but
yes,
there is an end in sight.
there's an end in sight.
Absolutely.
Yes. So is it going to be so the end of this karmic cycle is going to be thanks to a particular event, or it's just a building up, a gradual building up of um, evolving towards that, like in a gradual way, or there is going to be some significant event that is going to be like a turning point, let's say. So it's going to be a turning
Yeah.
point versus a gradual building up.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. They're saying they're making me feel like there are a series of events that will play out.
Okay.
Certain things need to play out the way that they're going to at the moment. So there are a series of events that need to play out. So that will happen. Particularly over the next 3 to 5 years. There's quite significant progress that will be made in a lot of different areas and avenues. But sometimes they're saying when you turn on the news and you're thinking, oh my God, it just seems like this is getting worse. Oh my God,
Mhm.
and it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better, unfortunately. But they're saying, pardon the pun, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. They will get there, but there's just a few more hurdles that need to be overcome, won and lost, and things that need to be realized in
Mhm.
order to make the progress so they can move forward with in the direction that they really want to be going and that they need to be going.
So I don't want to pick on Netanyahu necessarily, but because he represents this, so it's maybe it might be important to know, just out of curiosity, if he's going to be part as well of the end of this karmic cycle. But maybe it's part in any case. He's being part
Yes.
of
Oh,
that,
yes.
but
Yes.
specifically the end of it, I wonder.
Yeah, I feel like he plays it. They're saying, put it this way, he plays a significant part towards. He's playing his role. He does play a significant part with regards to the end.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so yes, he's saying yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on from this karmic cycle thingy. And okay, how much of the current violence is driven by political power versus deeper historical wounds?
It's a lot of political power, unfortunately.
Mm.
They're saying he's saying it's a power play and it's political. Unfortunately, but it does feel that way very
Mm.
much so.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's certain people in positions of authority, not necessarily Benjamin Netanyahu, but others that taking a little bit they're taking advantage of the positions that they're in and that they hold. But unfortunately, it's human beings, it's humanity. Thank you. They want me to use the word humanity. It's humanity that misses out. It's humanity that is greatly affected by the decisions that they make. So
Mhm.
it really does feel that way in a lot of ways. Yes.
Mm. What truths about the crisis are being hidden from the public?
There are many, many things that are being hidden, and there are a lot of things that the public will never know. There are discussions that have gone on and are continuing to go on that the public will never be privy to. There are documents that are being signed. There's something about a document that was signed or is signed. Treaties that are just there are something about documents and treaties. I don't know
Mm.
exactly what he means by that, but there's a lot of information that occurs and conversations that are happening between different people, different leaders, and different people. There
Mhm.
are people trying to resolve the issue, but then there's just you've got so many different forces at play. When you're working with the human ego, that can be quite challenging as
Mhm.
well. So there's a lot of back and forth and back and forth.
Mhm.
There's a lot of the blame game as well at the moment. But they want me to remind everyone that it's us humanity that is the greatest. One person can make a difference. I think if there's nothing else to get out of it, it's us and the importance that we hold as a society. Um, it's our energy. And I might be going off topic a little bit, so you can stop me on a tangent. But if we understand, our own energy, and what that is and what that means, and understand what our own energy is doing, you can make a difference. You really, really, really can.
Mm. Um, so, okay, there are maybe some questions that are going to repeat a little bit what we said before, but let's ask them anyway. What is Netanyahu's source contract in relation to Israel and Gaza?
Yeah, it's a lot of trying to it's actually trying to break karmic cycles, and it's trying to steer them in the direction of where they really need to be going, where they want to be going. But we're talking about they're saying it's very difficult because we're talking about very, very old and ancient, very, very a lot of past many years of this. So the thing, it's not a quick fix. It's not even like, a few years and then we can see a resolve. It's just the evolution, and it's the stage of which the evolution of humanity with regards to that section and that region of what they're going through. It's their own karmic cycle. And as they learn to try and break through, it might appear to be really difficult and really challenging and really hard at the moment. Doesn't mean that can't be. But there is a means to all of it. There is a reason for it, and there is a means to it. And they're all playing their roles exactly really well, exactly what they decided to take on and what they chose to take on, what they were willing to take on, what they were
Mhm.
wanting to take on, and to as they continue to move towards. And they're saying there are a lot of people whom the media doesn't talk about. There's a lot of people that you won't know their names, but they're working incredibly hard and behind the scenes. There's a positive movement happening behind the scenes. They're saying, there are very advanced souls that are around, that are in the vicinity, that are there doing the work, even if it's not a big grand gesture, but they are there, and they're saying, and it is working. It is working, and that gives me goosebumps. So that's a big,
Yes.
big, big yes. That's a big deal.
Mm.
It is working. There are those that are working incredibly hard. You'll never know their names. You'll never see their faces, but they are there and they are making that difference, even if it's just a little bit. But they're saying it's that little bit here, a little bit there by people, and as it grows and evolves, that's where the change will come in, and that's
Mhm.
happening. They're saying it's happening, definitely happening.
Awesome. Okay, so well, there is another question about Netanyahu. Netanyahu. I can't, say it
Yeah.
like, okay, is he fulfilling a destiny or straying from it?
Is he fulfilling a destiny?
Yes, or straying from it.
Yeah, no, he's playing the part. He's playing the role exactly, pretty much as it was decided, pre-birth plan.
Mhm.
So he's definitely contributing to the cause in his own way,
Mhm.
whether people like it or not. But it is definitely it's yeah definitely contributing.
Mhm.
Um, but again, it's designed in a way to, again, and we might be repeating ourselves, but it's designed to show us
Mhm.
where we want to be going and who we really are and what we don't want and what resonates and what no longer
Mhm.
resonates, and all of this. I think all of this conflict, there will be a time in humanity's history where we'll look back and think, can you believe we did that? Oh my goodness, what were we thinking? Thank God we've evolved beyond that. We're
Yeah.
past that now. That is no longer our story. And it's
Yes.
about closing the chapter of all these stories. Yeah, they're showing me literally a book being closed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, humanity, you've done that, you've gone through that cycle. Let's move on now.
Nice. So, what lessons is his soul meant to learn from this lifetime?
So you laugh, he's like, many, where should we start? Like, where do you want to start? Where
Oh,
can you possibly start? There are so many.
I guess.
And the thing, and you know what? And it's constantly evolving. It constantly
Yeah.
changes and evolves. It never stays the same. It's never the same. And you can take that in so many different kind of trajectories, so many different avenues, so many different ways we could go down. But there are many more, thousands, so many. It depends exactly where you're kind of wanting to go
Hmm.
with the questioning. But it's constantly changing, and every day it changes, every day it evolves, depending on what's going on
Hmm.
and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Next question. Is there hope for Palestinian statehood within this generation?
They're saying yes, but there's a lot of resistance. There's still a lot of resistance, and there's a lot of upheaval and battle, literal battle. There's a
Mhm.
lot of resistance. There's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of support. Of course, there's a lot of support for it, but it's not been an easy path. And but it's definitely it's progressing in the right direction. It's just going to take. There's still a lot to go through. It just feels like there's still quite the challenge ahead.
Yes.
But that's that determination, that humanity, and that determination that'll see it through. But it's definitely, um, yeah, thank you. It's going to be worth fighting for. They're saying, but it's definitely, yeah, it's challenging, very challenging.
Is this resistance also caused by US politics at the moment?
They're saying yes and no. He's saying yes and no. Yes, but there are also other influences as well, and not just US.
Mm,
But definitely, obviously, it does contribute. He's saying it is contributing, but it's definitely yeah. There are many different forces at play as
mm,
well. So it's not
mm,
just what people think,
mm,
or what stories are being told, are being fed to us. There's a lot of other things behind the scenes that people don't know and they're not aware of.
mm. So, what does the future hold for Gaza in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
They do make me feel like there are peace deals that will be made, but there's going to be quite a few hurdles to get through that. And they're saying there may be some peace deals that will be broken. So we might see, oh wow, this is great, this is positive. Look at this change. It looks like we're getting to the right. Just when it seems like we're getting somewhere, something happens. It's like, oh my God, we're back to square one again. What's going on? So there's going to be a lot of back and forth and back
Mhm,
and forth of okay, it seems like they're making the right, they're making progress, they're getting there, and then something occurs and something happens and it just sets it back again. So there's a
mhm,
lot of that. But they're saying as we evolve beyond 5, 10 years down the track, they're saying yes, they will get to exactly where they want to be going.
mhm,
There's a lot to go through.
mhm,
But the thing, but that's all dependent upon the people, those people that hold those positions of power and where they're at because they're greatly influenced. It can go in so many different directions.
mhm,
So it's really hard to predict in that nature because we don't know what there are so many different trajectories ahead of us. It's not just a one lane
right.
and that's it. It's dependent upon so many different decisions and choices and so many other factors that come into play with regards to well, where do they end up going? But
Mhm.
it is positive, but it's going to take some time to get there. It's going to take some time to get there.
Mhm. So, how is this conflict shaping the collective consciousness of humanity?
By forcing us to evolve, by assisting us. Thank you, not forcing, I don't mean to use that word, by assisting us to evolve, by assisting us and reminding us of who we are. We're repeating ourselves a lot, but it's really designed to do that because we've come so far in the last 5, 10 years or so. We have come very very far as a society, as a world, but so it's really it's designed to yeah to and we are repeating ourselves but it's just keeps showing us of the image that the energy that we just don't resonate with anymore so there's a lot of different yeah factors that come into play with that regard um
Yes.
yeah
Okay. So, last question. What can ordinary people around the world do spiritually to support peace?
Thank you. By being aware of their own energy and what that means for them, they're saying it doesn't have to be a big grand gesture. It does not need to be, going out and protesting. If that's what you want to do and that's what resonates with you, then great, go do that. They're saying go be a part of that movement, whatever that is for you. If it's, if it means a lot, whatever that is for you. But they're saying if humanity only begins to realize and learn how to not only tap into our own energy, but understanding what does that energy mean, being responsible, and being mindful of the energy that we emit on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, you're saying, if we just learn to be more, what's that word? If we learn to be more mindful about the energy that we emit every single day, you come across people, situations, circumstances that we don't like, that challenge us, that frustrate us, that annoy us. Getting annoyed and frustrated with it, fine, but then learn to like be, there's a word and it's nearly there. But it's just learning to, uh, um, yeah, tap into and just learn what our energy means, being emotionally intelligent and energetically intelligent. Thank you. Yes.
Energetically intelligent. Huh. This is a
I
new
like that
one.
word. I've never heard that. Energetically
Yeah,
intelligent. Thank you.
yeah. I've never
Emotionally
heard.
intelligent. I've heard about energetically intelligent. I really like that. Who would thank you. That's your credit. I like
Yes,
that. I like that.
I like that too, because now it's all about understanding our energy, because
Mm,
also with the, all, this waiting for the aliens to come, extraterrestrial coming
yeah.
from more advanced civilizations and
Yeah.
coming to help us. It implies that we need to understand our energy and be intelligent about it,
Yeah.
raising the vibrations for
Yep.
these encounters and possible interaction.
Absolutely.
So I like that. I like that. That's great. Okay, then. So thank you very much, Dennis. And this was great, amazing. Everybody can check Dennis' information down below in the description box. It's also going to be down on the screen. So you can contact him. And don't forget to like, subscribe. And we're going to be back soon with another session. Thank you so much again. Bye.